Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining me today as we are going to be digging a little bit deeper into cyber threats and the cybersecurity need for our hospital and for our organization. So we're going to do a little bit of review real quickly. We're going to look at some of the threats that we had from before. And just to review, the threat actors that we identified last time in our last presentation, those were the advanced persistent threats, the cyber terrorists, script kiddies, cyber criminals, hacktivists, and insider threats. Today we're going to be focusing on three of these threat actors. We're going to be focusing on the cyber terrorism, cyber criminals, and insider threats. Before we discuss the different threat actors today, we do need to define the difference between a vulnerability and a threat to our system. A vulnerability is a weakness that is in our hardware, our software, or in our procedures. And the threats are what are going to exploit those weaknesses or vulnerabilities in our system to get the information that they're looking for. As we look at each one of these different threat actors, we're going to try to identify a couple different threats they may pose to our system and different ways to get our information out of our patients. First one is a cyber terrorism. They may be using an SMS attack or what's considered a smishing attack. They're sending text messages out to patients, trying to trick them into giving personal information or trying to get access to a patient's account that the patient would give to them through this attack. They also may use a phishing attack, which is similar, but they use a voicemail or a phone call to try to trick our patients to give them the information that the cyber terrorists would be looking for in order to access, again, the system or access their own personal accounts. Okay, and moving on to cyber criminals. This group we believe would be trying to exploit data breaches in our system. They're trying to create a data breach to exploit a vulnerability in our system in order to steal all our patients' data in order for them to use it for their own purposes, selling it, holding it hostage. And in order to do that, they're going to maybe trying to use Wi-Fi hacking. So they're going to try to find an unsecured Wi-Fi link or unsecured Wi-Fi on our system. Makes it that much easier for them to get in. It's important for us to make sure that we don't have unsecured Wi-Fi anywhere for our in our hospital, so people aren't able to access records without our permission. All right, and finally, we're going to talk about insider threats. This is the group that may or may not be leaking information or stealing information from us. Maybe on purpose, it may be accidental. If it's an accidental, this group may be the one. They may fall victim to a whaling attack, which is where they receive an email or message from someone outside of our organization that's pretending to be a senior member of the board. It could be a CIO, CEO, CFO, anybody that's high ranking in the company that makes it seem like they know what they're talking about and they need the information that they're requesting from those people, from our employees that may or may not know what's going on. So they're basically being tricked into giving out personal or sensitive information to someone that's not authorized to have that. Another way that we can have our information stolen is through a disgruntled employee maybe installing malware onto the system, where it's just bad software that can create a data breach or leak information out that can be collected later and then used for whatever purposes that we don't want it to be used for. And again, these are just a few of the attacks that we need to keep in mind when we're talking about the security of our patients and keeping our system secure. We will continue to monitor and make sure that these attacks aren't happening. So again, I thank everyone for joining me today, and everyone have a great rest of your evening. Bye now.